Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin. If you're new here, if you're not new, thank you so much for coming back and watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. So I usually talk about personal finance and sprinkle in a little bit of DIY home stuff coming soon, at least. So if either of those two things interest you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to follow along my journey. So today I'm going to be going over my budget for June, and so I'm just going to dive in because it might be a little bit longer. So we'll just get into it and try not to talk your ear off. So I will show you my budget document that I created myself. It is very tailored to me, so we will see how it goes. But hopefully it makes a lot. Up at the top here, I just list out my housing and utility costs. And so some of these are split bills with my partner who shares some bills with me, and then some of them are just for me. So with the mortgage, that is my half of the mortgage. So I budget about $470.67, and that's the same cost every month. For the electric, it is usually under $200, especially in this time frame of year where we're not using heat or cooling really. And so hopefully it'll remain under 100, and I'm just usually under budget there. And then for water, I'm budgeting $10.50 per month because it's a little over $20 total. And then for internet, that is the full bill, so it's the same every month. And that is because Trav takes care of a hotspot and some other things like the dogs and stuff. And so I just take care of the whole internet bill. So then for the trash bill, that is split because it is normally $28 and it never changes. And then my phone bill is it's just under $38. So that's what I budget for it. And I have a cheap phone bill because I have Straight Talk. So you have to own your phone, can't have like a plan. And then also I have a lower data usage plan because I don't use any data because I don't go anywhere. So that is that. And then the last thing in my housing and utility costs, I put it up here. It's a sinking fund for propane because we heat our house and we cook with propane. So it's really important to save up each month for that because it's anywhere from $500 to $700 to fill our tank. And so if we save up as we go, we can potentially pre-buy a full tank and then another one for winter in the summertime and get the best price on that. So that's what our goal is to save a little every month, and Trav does the same thing so that we can split that cost when it comes up. And then, I don't know if you guys know this, but obviously my partner's name is Travis, so I call him Trav. So anyway, that's who I'm talking about, my partner. But anyway, auto, I have my insurance that I pay, full coverage for my Jeep, and liability for my car. So please don't hit me if I'm driving my car. But anyway, yeah, that is a pretty good deal. I usually pay between $1 and $110 depending on the month and whatnot, because sometimes it doesn't split evenly for 6 months of cost, but I pay monthly. So then for fuel, this is the one part of my budget that I'm not sure about this month because I'm actually going to be working in office for at least a week this month, training a new team member. And so I know that I'm probably going to spend more than $50 this month, but I don't really know how much it's going to be between having a vehicle that I'm not used to driving because I haven't had a car in a while. I've just had my Jeep for a long time, for like 6 or 7 months. And then I just bought a car. So I just don't know, and I'm just gonna reconcile it with another section of the budget, like my miscellaneous fund or something, if I go over there, but we will see. And then with debt, I have budgeted my minimum Jeep payment, my extra Jeep payment, and my student loan payment each month. And so for the foreseeable few months, I will actually be putting that student loan towards my Jeep. So you can see that for the month of June, I've already paid my minimum payment and put in the student loan payment towards the extra. And then when I get paid again, I'll put in that $500 as well. So moving on to my food section, I have 3 categories. Groceries, I budget about $150, and I usually do like 2 little trips. So one trip is like the bigger one, getting all the chicken, the beef, the turkey that we freeze and then thaw when we need to use it. And then the stuff for my lunches throughout the month because I work from home, so I have to make sure I'm like thinking ahead about lunches. And then also I usually leave a little bit of money in there to do like an extra trip to like Dollar General or something later in the month that's like a closer store, just to stop in for like bread or eggs or the little stuff. And then I do have a personal fast food fund, and I really should just call that my Taco Bell fund because that's really all I buy with it. Whenever I go into town to see my mom, it's about a 45-minute drive, and I can go the longer way, which is about 5 minutes longer, and I can go to Taco Bell. So I usually do that because the closest town to us doesn't have one, and I just love it. So I'll do that once or twice a month, and it's usually under $15 because I get like the dollar menu stuff. But I do have it budgeted. And then I do have an eating out together fund, and that is eating out with Travis. So that's usually if we go to like a nicer restaurant, it's like $50. But if we go to like Chipotle or something, which we've never done, but I'm just as an example, it would probably be like we could do 2 trips like that. So that's kind of what that's for. So we already used $16 of it on some Pizza Hut, so it's cool. Everything's fine. But anyway, moving on from food, we get into my savings section, which is my favorite section. This is the area where my sinking funds are. So the first thing is my Roth IRA, and I already put my $100 in that for the month of June. And then I do have a home projects fund, which is like for renovation purposes. And I put $100 a month towards that. And then auto maintenance, I save $20 a month for like oil changes, like just simple stuff like that. And then I do save $15 a month for my phone because I'm hoping to buy a new phone someday. Probably not this year, but maybe next year. So I'm just putting a little money back here and there when I can to make sure that I've got something saved towards that. And then I have a vacation fund. I put $30 a month in. Gifts fund, I try to throw $15 in if I don't buy any gifts that month, but it is June, which is my dad's birthday, so I may not save $15 this month. I may just spend that to buy my dad some stuff. And then I have my household maintenance fund, which is different from the renovation fund. This is like if something breaks, that's the fund we're going to. So like the gutter fell down recently and we had to replace it. So that's the type of expense I would pull that fund for. And then I do have an emergency fund, and I put $50 a month into that. My goal is 3 to 6 months, but right now I'm shooting just for that next month, which is 2 more months. So right now I have like 1 month saved, and I'm on my way to the second month. And I'm really hoping I can get there this year, but we will see. Then I have my entertainment expenses, which is basically just my subscriptions. I have Spotify, Amazon Prime, CBS All Access, and Hulu. And those video subscriptions together end up working out to where I pay for those, and then my mom pays for the Netflix, and so her household can use all of these accounts, and I use the Netflix from her. So we split it, and it works out really great, and we do have a discount for Amazon Prime, so I just pay it monthly instead of annually because we have that discount. Then I did have a podcast subscription for a while, and I may start that up again, so I'm leaving it in there until I decide what to do, but I actually canceled it a couple months ago, so we'll see. I really, really liked it. It's $5, why? So anyway, I do have a miscellaneous section, and this is kind of where I threw the things that didn't fit elsewhere. So I do have a budget for if I ever buy like dog food or dog treats, which I don't necessarily spend that money every single month. So sometimes I'll spend more money in household items or like renovation, and then I don't spend much on the dogs. And Travis usually takes care of their food. So like if there's like shampoo or toys or treats that I want to get them, I'll do that, and he takes care of the food usually. So, but I do have it in there in case it comes up. And then household expenses, I put $50 towards that a month usually, and that usually covers it. I'll get like a big thing of toilet paper or dish soap, hand soap. This month I'm buying like freezer bags, like Ziploc bags, stuff like that. And then personal spending, I do put $50 for that. And I usually go over because I pull from my personal spending for gifts as well, but that's why I added like a gift fund eventually. So I'm hoping it'll start evening out a little bit better, and I won't be spending my personal spending money on gifts. But for the foreseeable future, all I've got is $50. And then in my actual miscellaneous fund, I have $75. So that, as you can see, I have already put in $52.93 for that, but that is because I went over by that much in May, and so I've got to reconcile that somewhere, and I decided to put it in miscellaneous for June, which is not ideal because in June I actually have to renew my Jeep license plate. And so that's going to come from the auto maintenance, but I don't have enough saved in that fund to cover it entirely. So I'm probably going to have to use my miscellaneous and maybe even my personal spending to cover it. I'm not sure how much it is yet. And I just didn't really plan ahead too much for that because it's usually like around 100, and I just assumed I could use my miscellaneous, and then I went over in May. And so we will just see how that goes. But that is it. And then for the income section and totals, I put those in purple, and my income doesn't change month to month. So I always make this much at least. And then I, budget for having like no leftover, basically zero. So I would like just leave that. Anything less than $10 left over at the end of the month, I just leave in my checking as a buffer for, automatic withdrawals and things like that. So that covers it. I'm sorry if I spoke a million miles a minute. I just wanted to get through that without making it a 20-minute video. So thank you so much for watching. Please do like and comment if you feel so inclined. And I will catch you in the next video. Have a good morning, noon, or night, whatever it is for you.